Today, the isekai genre is the equivalent of superhero movies in anime. This season alone, we have a lot of airing isekai anime, from Overlord Season 4, Isekai Ojisan, Isekai Yakuku, and Hataraku Mao-sama. There's no doubt that isekai anime will always be present for every season, and it's not stopping anytime soon, and at this point, I won't be shocked if they announce a massive crossover of isekai anime a la MCU. Oh wait, they already have that. Hello, I'm your friendly fellow Math, and here are 5 reasons why isekai anime will never die. Let's define it. Isekai will never die because of the consistent success of the isekai genre. If I ask you now to name some of the greatest anime that aired for the last decade, chances are you're going to mention an isekai title. From Mushoku Tensei, Re:Zero, Konosuba, Slime Isekai, No Game No Life, to even The Ascendance of a Bookworm. There are no shortages of isekai anime that perform so well, it managed to get a high rating on different anime reviewing platforms and garnered a huge number of following. Now, it doesn't mean that if an anime has the isekai genre, then it will automatically be successful because there are a lot of bad isekai anime out there, just look at Conception. What I mean by the consistent success of the isekai genre is that for the past decade, isekai has been the most influential genre and has driven the animation industry towards a new era. The isekai genre is so prevalent right now because it also boasts financial success. Just by looking at the best-selling light novels, Slime Isekai managed to sell 30 million copies, Overlord sold 12 million copies, while both Cheel Hero and Re:Zero currently stand at 11 million, which is also the number of REM figures Kadokawa plans to sell. And since there is a high demand for the isekai genre, then people are bound to cash in with the trend, which brings us to our second reason. The industry is saturated with the isekai genre. Bookwalker is selling more than 300 isekai light novels and mangas. My Anime List has 229 anime listed as an isekai. Since there is a high demand for the isekai genre based on its following and sales, because corporations love money, people are now creating their own isekai stories to sell. If you look at any seasonal anime live chart in this decade, you'll find an isekai anime. If you enter any bookstore in Japan, you'll see hundreds of isekai light novels and mangas. If you join any forums, you'll encounter someone praising an isekai anime, and under that is someone shouting that the manga was better. Now, obviously, having a saturated genre is not the best thing because it will produce a lot of mediocre works under that genre. If something is popular in an industry, there will be people attempting the most stupid thing that they can think of and call it a masterpiece. It's not the fault of the Japanese media nor the animation industry. This has been the natural way of things when something becomes a major trend. Having a saturated genre does not also equate to being a terrible genre. For every shonen anime, there will be a One Piece, then there will be a Boruto. For every rom-com anime, there will be a Kaguya-sama, and then there will be a Shikimori. Since there are a lot of resources, then animation studios will be able to adapt many more anime, which gives people jobs and provides us with entertainment, but at the cost of seeing an anime like Conception. But then, why are publishers allowing this much isekai-related media? Well, it's not only because of its high demand, but isekai is actually the most strategic way for writers to get publication. Which brings us to our third reason. Isekai is the king of premise. Have you ever wondered how a manga or a light novel gets a publication? One of the most popular way is entering a contest. For manga, publication companies like Shueisha hold a one-shot manga competition. A one-shot manga, or also known as a yumikiri, is a type of manga mainly used for competition that shows the whole story in one chapter, and most of these one-shots only consist of 20 to 60 pages. Similar to manga, light novels also holds a writing competition to select new writers that will receive a publication. For example, Kadokawa has the Dengeki Novel Prize. Of course, the submitted light novels need to only have 15 to 30 pages for short novels, while 80 to 130 pages for long novels. And they are also written in a genkoyoshi. It is a type of Japanese paper for vertical writing and with a 42 by 34 character limit. Now, the similarity of the two is that both are competitions where you have to submit a limited work, which means in order for a mangaka or light novel author to win the competition, their story needs to get the attention of their readers by only using this limited number of pages. And the isekai genre works best for this type of writing because their premises are interesting. What if you were transferred to a fantasy world where you become a vending machine? What if you were reincarnated as a milky succubus? What if you were reborn in Dragon Ball, but you are Yamcha? This is also the reason why we have a lot of isekai with insane titles. I mean, if you tell me that I'd rather have a cat than a harem reincarnated into the world of an otome game as a cat-loving villainess is a real light novel, then I will wholeheartedly believe you. Thus, people will keep writing light novels and drawing mangas that have the isekai genre. But why are we weebs so captivated by this? Why is it appealing for us to read or watch an anime where the villainess likes pussy more than a harem? Well, it's because of the fourth reason. Isekai enables experience taking. A majority of isekai stories are set in a fantasy world and most of which are based on video games. Additionally, almost all otakus are fans of gaming, and according to Crunchyroll, 90% of its users identify themselves as gamers. Isekai stories are able to captivate anime fans because even though the story is set in a different world, there are certain elements, mechanics, and themes that are familiar to the viewers which makes them feel connected. According to research, most isekai stories are based on a first-person game because the majority of the fans project themselves as the main protagonists. This is a phenomenon that we call experience taking. It is the creative process of involuntarily adapting the persona of a fictional character and mimicking their emotions, actions, ambitions, and characteristics as if they were one's own. So why do people find joy in assuming the protagonist's role in these isekai stories? Well, another thing about the isekai genre is that the majority of its main protagonists are overpowered. Hence why we have the argument of isekai being synonymous to power fantasies. Since fans of the genre are subject to experience taking, they are able to share with the experience of the main protagonist, showcasing these powerful moves, which makes them feel positive about themselves. Because you have got to admit that sometimes we want to hold some degree of power and influence our surroundings that we cannot control with our own measly pathetic abilities, which leads us to our final reason. Isekai is a genre of escapism. Now, if you have watched my video review on Isekai Ojisan, I have talked about how isekai is an effective form of escapism, and if you haven't, click here and watch it later. Anyway, isekai is a genre of escapism, and the reason for the surge of its popularity is because the world is getting more problematic as time goes by, which means we will always have an isekai for every issue that we want to escape. We are dealing with countless problems, be it on a global scale like climate change, the pandemic, and wars, to personal problems. Watching an isekai gives us a breather from all that stress. Is it a bad habit to have? Well, personally no. As long as you are able to discern what is fiction and reality, then there is no harm in watching an isekai to escape from what's bothering you in life. In a way, watching an isekai can also provide us with a lot of insights on how to deal with the real-world problems without getting transported to the another world. ReZero taught us to never give up no matter how many times you fail, Isekai Ojisan taught us to appreciate what we have in life, and Conception taught us nothing because that is an awful show. So I guess isekai will never die, and so should be your hope in life. But I'm curious about what you think. Do you think that isekai is just a fad that someday will go away? Tell me how wrong I am in the comments. Laters!